Well, hello, out of hiding. I'm DJ Vertigo, and I just want to say hello, everybody. Good evening. It's a Sunday night, and I've been away for quite a while. I haven't been away from the community, but I have not done any videos in quite some time. So I just wanted to say hello, and I didn't know if I had anything to say up till now, and I was in rehearsal with my band about a week ago. We have a show coming up, and the bass player in my band said, who are your influences? Who gets you going? What kind of vocalists do you like? And I said, that's a great idea. I can talk about my favorite vocalists, the ones I have vinyl of anyway. And so I have a whole stack here. I'm gonna end with some of my top ones, but I'm gonna start off with well, I just want to say that I just want to thank people like Rachel's Ghost out there, who's always been very supportive of my page. I've not been very ambitious to grow my page, but I'm trying. I'm trying. I've just been really, really busy, and when I have my moments, I have to take them. So I'm taking them right now. Taking one right now. And I'm going to tell you some of my favorite vocalists. And maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, or maybe you haven't heard of some of these. I don't know, but or not aware of these people. I know you're aware of this one. Al Green, amazing, amazing singer, songwriter. Incredible career and story to this man, who has done secular and non-secular music, and has had a very turbulent time in his life, but he also has had really great moments in his career, and he has been very influential to many, many male vocalists and female vocalists, I should say, in the R&B world and the blues world as well. Has a very, very special kind of almost feminine quality to his singing. I dare say. He just had this way of singing that's not really aggressive and harsh. He's very smooth and soft, but just beautiful bluesy, soulful vocals. And this is a really great record that came out about maybe 2 years ago, and it's his greatest hits, Al Green's greatest hits with an orchestra behind it. They added an orchestra in this, and it has all of the hits like "Tired of Being Alone," "Call Me," "Let's Stay Together," "Still in Love with You," "Here I Am," "How Can You Mend a Broken Heart," "Take Me to the River," "Look What You've Done for Me." You get the idea. Just incredible, incredible stuff on that. Just love Al Green. Everybody in my home. He was the biggie in my home. This is somebody who was in a band. This is a band called Average White Band. Hamish Stewart. This, I believe he's Irish, and he's no longer with Average White Band. I think he's solo. Maybe he's back with them. I'm not sure, but I know he left them a few years ago. But Hamish Stewart has got to be one of the best tenors out there. He's just incredibly soulful, and for somebody who does not come from the South, somebody who does not come from Southern church, this guy is unbelievable. And all their records, I don't think they would be anywhere near where they are, as well as great as they are as musicians, incredible musicians, without his vocals, without Hamish Stewart's vocals, especially early on in their career. Even though their first big hit was an instrumental, pretty much, "Pick Up the Pieces." But this album has "Love of Your Life," "I'm the One," "A Love of Your Own." Oh man, that kills. "Queen of My Soul," "Soul Searching," "Going Home," "Digging Deeper," "Everybody's Darling." It's got incredible. I mean, just almost every song on here is so, so good. And this is Soul Searching. And they found it. They definitely found it. Incredible. And I guess that goes under the category of Blue Eyed Soul, which is sometimes a controversial phrase, but for lack of a better term, here you go. This woman, who is a rival to, or who was not a rival, but a contemporary of Bonnie Raitt. And I would have put Bonnie Raitt in here, but I wanted to put this woman in there because she's no longer with us, but she was definitely a great singer, songwriter and guitar player, slide guitar especially. Ellen McElwain. This record is called Honky Tonk Angel, and apparently she was very much influenced by Jimi Hendrix, and she just had sort of a rough kind of bar sounding soulful voice, but she could rock out, she could folk out, and she can R&B out anybody under the table. And she would do Toehold on this record, Losing You, Ode to, she does a great rendition of Ode to Billy Joel. She also does Pinye, which is a great tune. Can't Find My Way Home, which is a Traffic tune that, oh man. And or Steve Winwood, I should say, Wade in the Water, a new version done by Ellen McElwain, which is a classic tune. But she will floor you. If you've not heard this vocalist, I would definitely pick up Honky Tonk Angel. Anything of hers would be great, but pick up Honky Tonk Angel, and you will be satisfied. Trust me. Um, yeah, great. The next artist that I want to talk about real quickly, and I know you've heard about him, and you probably say, "Oh, he's so over. He's too much in the media right now. He's really hot right now." But there's a reason why he's hot. And I don't normally go for country. I'm not a real country fan. I like some of the classics, some of Patsy Cline and Johnny Cash, and some of the old timers. But I'm not really into contemporary country. But this guy, who's been writing for a lot of people for a long time, and now in the past few years, he's gotten a lot of attention. Chris Stapleton, and this is his first solo release. His first solo release, yeah. Chris Stapleton, Traveler, and it has incredible stuff on there, stuff that he's written. But the outstanding track on here that everybody knows that he does is not done by him, but is written by Linda Hargrove and Dean Dillon. Tennessee Whiskey, yeah. I put this in my set list, that song in my set list, and I heard this when he sang it. I was just like, wow, just amazing runs with his voice, just incredible. Another great soulful vocalist who just an old soul, really great. This is a really great gatefold, yeah, and that's his wife there, Morgane Stapleton. She sings with him. She sings backup for him, and she kind of supports him really well. Chris Stapleton. If you're not into, if you haven't checked him out, check him out. He's just amazing, amazing. The next one, I think everybody will agree with me that this is the soul man of soul men. Very few could touch this guy, Otis Redding. This is his first record, and this is just a new pressing that just came out, a European pressing of Pain in My Heart. And it has an outstanding tune on here called "These Arms of Mine," an Otis Redding composition. And I'm telling you, it just kills. He also does "I Need Your Lovin'" on this. He does "Hey Hey Baby." He does "Stand By Me." He does "Louie Louie" as well on this. And this is a really cool, another gatefold. You recognize that, man. Otis Redding. Amazing artist. Yeah, this is a great classic in soul music. Definitely something, if you don't have any soul records, pick that one up. It's a nice beginner for you. And I was speaking of this gentleman earlier. He's worked with many bands, including Spencer Davis Group, Traffic, Blind Faith. You know who I'm talking about. And he's also done a lot of solo work. Steve Winwood. I used a lot of his songs from back in the High Life. I used a lot of his songs in the past for audition pieces because he just had such great range on those songs, and there was not one song on there that I couldn't sing that I wouldn't get a job from, because people were like, "Oh God, You're working that Steve Winwood stuff. Nice. This is a collection of his songs. This is just called Winwood, and it has him with Spencer Davis Group singing songs like Crossroads and Give Me Some Lovin', Somebody Help Me, Traffic with Dear Mr. Fantasy, Smiling Phases, Medicated Goo, you know, Blind Faith, Sea of Joy, and just so much. There's Freedom Rider for Traffic on this one. So it's a nice little, if you don't have any Steve Winwood or any of those bands, I can't imagine that you wouldn't. This is a nice one to pick up. I got this really cheap used. But I have a lot of his other stuff. I have a lot of his CDs, though. So, the Steve Winwood, another tenor, like me. I love tenors. This woman, when she came into our lives, and I mean the world's lives, I just could not believe that this woman, this little woman from London, could blow this way. And not just blow, but she also had a style that that she gleaned from all these other greats from the past, Billie Holiday and Aretha Franklin and all these different people, but she actually created a sound vocally and also just musically that was so specifically her. And it's a shame that we didn't get to have her for too long. Amy Winehouse, Back to Black. I love anything this woman sings. Anything. She could sing songs that I don't like, and I still would probably like them because she puts her own stamp on everything. You almost forget about the originals when she sings songs, and she sings, and her own stuff is brilliant. Or her original music's brilliant. So, and I don't think I need to say much more about that. Amy Winehouse, you know her. This next artist, a lot of people don't know, or they don't think they know. They know, but they didn't realize how brilliant this artist was as a vocalist. Before there was, let's just say before there was RuPaul, before there was all these other drag queens, drag race, and all that kind of stuff, there was a drag queen by the name of, from San Francisco, by the name of, well, not from San Francisco, but that was based out of San Francisco, named Sylvester. Sylvester could make you dance like crazy, could take you to church, but also could bring you to cheer. She brought the house down. I met Sylvester in New York in the street one day on 8th Street, walking down the street. I'll never forget. She had this long midi coat on and gloves and a big hat and everything. And I said, Sylvester? And she turned around and says, yes. And I said, you are amazing. I just want you to know that you are loved. And she was so, gracious about it, And I was just like, because I just, there's a song that she does that I believe it's by Patti LaBelle, or originally done by Patti LaBelle. It's called You Are My Friend. And she goes on, she does a little, this is a live album that she did in San Francisco. And this was a big show for her. And it was so well received that they made a double album out of that show. And on that show, she did a whole bunch of songs, Body Strong, some of her classic dance tunes. She did let's see, Dance Disco Heat, You Make Me Feel Mighty Real, Can't Stop Dancing. You get the idea. But the song that's the standout for me, she does Blackbird. She does a beautiful version of Blackbird with 2 Tons of Fun. Her backup singers, Martha Wash and I forget the other woman's name. But they do a really nice version of the Beatles' Blackbird, really gospel-y type thing. But You Are My Friend, the first time I heard that, I was a puddle. I was absolutely, and every time I hear that song, I get choked up. when Sylvester sings it. I think no one sings it like Sylvester, not even Patti LaBelle. And I love Patti LaBelle, but I'm just thinking about it getting choked up. You have to hear this record, and you have to hear that song. And this record is called Living Proof. It's a live record, living proof of the brilliance of Sylvester. Yeah, I have two copies. A non-gatefold and a gatefold. Love Sylvester. Yeah. We're going to go back in time a little bit with one of my father's favorite vocalists who became one of my favorite vocalists in the jazz world. And that to the point where I took my parents to see her at the Blue Note in New York City. And this was like a year or two before she passed away. And oh man, my father was in heaven. Sarah Vaughan. Sarah Vaughan has a voice of an opera singer, but it's the style of a jazz singer and also the sensibility of a pop singer. So she has all that wrapped into one incredibly beautiful soprano. I think she's a soprano. Well, she's actually. I have to correct myself on that. I think she can sing soprano, but she has a range that's just to die for. She can go really deep, and she can hit those high notes that I cannot hit. This is her live with Thad Jones, Richard Davis, and Roy Haynes. And anything by her. There's a record that she does live in Paris that is just phenomenal, where she sings "Where Is the Clowns." It's a very long version of "Where Is the Clowns," and I'm telling you, you will not be bored by any minute of it. I think it's 10 minutes long, but you just love you lap it up. It's so beautiful. But in this record, she sings like "Stairway to the Stars," "How High the Moon," "Speak Low," "Three Little Words," "I Feel Pretty," Misty. Oh yeah. Lover Man. I'm going around Sassy's Blues, which is her, that's like her thing. And Polka Dots and Moonbeams, all kinds of really great stuff in there. I Cry for You, now it's your turn to cry for me. Yeah. Sarah Vaughan. Sassy. Yeah. Anything by her. Anything at all. Let's go a little faster here. I talked about Patti LaBelle earlier. This record, Patti LaBelle is a solo artist, but she also had a girl group called Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells, which was four of them, including Cindy Birdsong, who ended up leaving the group and going to the Supremes when Florence Ballard left the Supremes. She was asked to join the Supremes. And they actually wrote a song called "Can I Speak to You Before You Go to Hollywood" about that whole situation, her leaving the Bluebells. But they just weren't making it, and then they got an opportunity to do a different type of sound, which was a little bit more funky, and then they were told, why don't you dress a little differently? Which they did. They kind of got into this whole kind of like, I don't know, they kind of look like a psychedelic kind of band, girl group. They just changed their look. They didn't go for that Motown look anymore, which was the kind of look they were going for, and they went for this more rock and roll kind of thing, more David Bowie, more that kind of thing, and the rest is history. They had that hit song with Lady Marmalade, of course, but this album showcases this woman, Patti LaBelle. Patti, as her fans call her, Patti. Yeah, Patti LaBelle. She earned every bit of love and adoration from me for this album. Some of the vocals on this record, to me, are the definition of what Patti can do. The three of them together, the harmonies are just incredible. All three of them just kill it. But some of the songs on here, "Going Down Makes Me Shiver," will make you shiver. Trust me. "Get You Somebody New" is the most aggressive kind of rock sounding soul song that you could ever listen to. "Isn't It a Shame?" Oh, "Chameleon." Oh my God, "Chameleon" has this kind of New Orleans kind of sound to it. It's just killer. But "Going Down Makes Me Shiver" will definitely you know, make you a believer in Patti LaBelle. If you feel like, oh, Patti LaBelle, no, check this record out. You will fall in love. You will fall in love. And I mean, I fell in love with all the LaBelle albums, but this album just, I didn't think they could get any better than Nightbirds, and they got better than Nightbirds with their second album, and then the second album in that incarnation. But then Chameleon, which was their last album that they did before she went solo, before they all went solo, and then they did a follow up years later. They did an album years later, which I wasn't that crazy about. We're getting towards the end now, guys. The next three people, there's four people that these are the last ones for me that influenced me to become a vocalist. Not that I think that I could touch this man, because I know I can't, because I don't play piano fluently, and I definitely couldn't play piano like this gentleman. And I didn't come from church like this gentleman, and I also there's something innate that he had that you cannot duplicate. I don't care what anybody says. Donny Hathaway. He was given a gift that very few people are given. I think Amy Winehouse is another one that has that gift. And there's others that I've mentioned, but this man could move mountains with his voice. He could start a revolution with his voice. Had he lived, I think the civil rights movement would have continued on. I just think that he had something that galvanized people of all types when he performed. And I never saw him perform, but he has several his live albums. His studio albums are great, but his live albums are even greater because they show him in his element orally. And yeah, I just got this at Record Store Day, the last Record Store Day I think it was. This is a classic live. He does an incredible version of What's Going On. He does an amazing, amazing John Lennon tune, Jealous Guy, that I have actually copied him on, and it's still difficult for me to do. But also the classic The Ghetto, which is it's him singing and playing piano and have an amazing rhythm section that just does this long thing. You Got a Friend, the Carole King tune he does on here. Hey Girl, just amazing stuff on it. Little Ghetto Boy, which is one of his compositions. Get this record. Even if you get nothing else by him, this should be in every collection. If you want to be moved, if you want to be inspired, Donny Hathaway live. Just killer, killer. One of the best live albums I think I've ever heard. And there's a few out there. Even if you don't like live albums, because some people don't like live records, you'll like this one. I can guarantee you'll like this one. I got to do that later. This gentleman definitely probably was my first, the first person who influenced me to become a vocalist at all. Now, Donny Hathaway showed me what style I wanted to do, because I really wanted to do that, even though I didn't come from that kind of church. I'm a Catholic boy. I didn't come from Baptist church. But this guy influenced me in writing as well as singing, but definitely singing. I used to listen to his records and sing along with his records until the point where my voice was hurting, so I can learn his runs and learn how to create my own runs and find my own way and my own path. But Stevie Wonder, I know people would say songs in the key of life, songs in the key of life, but this record was the record that did it for me in terms of thinking, that maybe I'd want to do this for a living. There's not one bad, slow, boring, song on this album. Every song is amazing, and it goes one song into the next. There's no gaps in between the songs. There's no silence. It just continues to go, and it's a whole story. and it's just beautiful. It's just everything about this record is beautiful. The artwork is beautiful. The music, the musicians on here, Stevie's singing, the writing on here is just it's just it's just out of this world. It's the most sophisticated thing. At the time when I was, how old was I then? What year was this? I don't even know what year. I must have been like 10, 9 or 10 when this came out, and I tell you, no, I was older. I was 12. I was 12 when this came out, and I just thought I felt so sophisticated listening to this record. Yeah, Stevie Wonder, he's the man. He is the man. Unbelievable. What a great talent. From the time he was a child. I mean, I always loved Stevie Wonder records. And incidentally, I used to buy his singles. And Stevie Wonder's singles were great. But if you listen to the B-sides of his singles, oh my God. Just, it's like that could be a hit too. I mean, just unbelievable. Stevie Wonder is a wonder. He is a wonder. My number one, the woman that I, you know, that I would just, I've seen her maybe 20 times in my life in concert. I've met her. I've seen her actually when she was recording a video in New Jersey for one of her biggest hits ever. And I just, I can't say too much about this woman because she was my obsession, is my obsession. I've calmed down over the years, but when I was a young man, oh my God, Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan. And this album in particular showcases Shaka Khan at her best. She was doing stuff on this record that I think the label did not want her to do. They just thought it was too disparate. There was too many things going on, and she says, "I'm doing what I'm gonna do." And I'm telling you, I'm so glad she did that. I'm glad she did it. And this became her signature album for quite a long time until she had the big hit, of course, I Feel For You later on. But this opens with her doing a rendition of the Beatles' We Can Work It Out. That, I mean, Stevie Wonder does a great rendition of it, but Shaka Khan's version, oh man, especially towards the end when she starts hitting the high notes and when her backup singers are saying life is very short, and she says dirty, 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 dirty out of nowhere. I mean, that's something that is just her thing. She threw her own little thing in there, and she just lifted it to another level. She made that song her own completely. What You Gonna Do For Me title track is great. Everybody knows that. I Know You, I Live You used to fill the dance floors in New York City. Incredible. Any Old Sunday is a great kind of bluesy tune, bluesy soulful tune. We Got Each Other is kind of like a pop thing, a fast pop tune. Then the side two, she does Night in Tunisia, and she has Dizzy Gillespie on that one. Night Moods is kind of like a nice little thing. Heed the Warning is a typical Shaka Khan tune. Fate kind of has a little bit of a rocky edge to it, but it's still soulful. And then she does a reprise of I Know You, I Live You, and it's just one of those albums that just every time I look at it, I just get very happy because she looks like she's in a very happy place. This is probably at a good time in her life, hopefully. She looked really good. I know she was going through a lot of turmoil during the time she was with Rufus and stuff. There was some drug stuff going on and all that kind of thing, and so it's not always been a smooth sailing for Shaka Khan. But I tell you, she always has been a powerful woman, and she never let that stop her from touring, never let that stop her from recording, never let that stop her from being Shaka Khan. And that voice that could just like, my father goes, she can melt walls with that voice. And because I used to blast Shaka Khan in the house, and my father used to tell me to, turn that down because you might break stuff, break glass, listening to her shrill high voice. But Shaka Khan, my number one. And I know there's many others that I love, and probably others that I didn't mention that you say, oh, what about Aretha? What about Etta? What about Nina? What about, there's so many others, but these are the ones that I pulled today that I found the vinyl really quickly, and thank you for indulging me. It's about a half an hour. I think that's enough. I made up for the time. Hopefully I made up for the time that I've been away. Um, and I love going checking out people's live streams. I probably will not ever do a live stream. That's not my area, but I do enjoy Rachel's Ghost live streams. They're lots of fun. Um, Love to watch when people come on and join in and stuff. But that's it. That's all I have to say today. Happy to be part of the VC community. I hope you keep listening to music. Tell me in the comments section what you think of these vocalists and if there's any other vocalists that you like or that influence you in your daily life or in your professional life or whatever. These are people who are constants in my mental Rolodex in terms of music, in terms of singing. These people really influence me big time. And with that, I want to say thank you. Keep listening to music. Peace out, y'all. DJ Vertigo saying, listen to more music. Bye bye.